Hi, it's Irene Angard-Agnell in the heart of West Kensington in London today. As you maybe know, the Renters' Right Reform Act became law this week, and it may take many landlords with surprise, but also foreign and remote buyers and busy buyers who might be considering buying a London property. How does it impact buyers and what do they need to be aware of? Well, without going into the entire law, things you need to be aware of is that tenants who are currently living in a property have the right to be there for at least a year until they get notice, and then they have 4 months notice instead of 2 months notice as we currently have. And currently they're allowed to be there for 6 months. So if a landlord has been thinking to rent out their property to get some income while it's being sold, it's very important to know when they were given the contract or when it started. And also, tenants have rights. Basically, the landlord cannot serve notice unless all the contract and the compliance has been done in a correct way. There are lots of things that have to be done correctly. And if the tenant is savvy and knows what the law is, then they can simply take the landlord to court. And while this is quite extreme, it is important to know all of these facts. So how does this impact buyers? Well, if you are wanting to buy a property and there is already a tenant in situ, as you say, so if there is a tenant in the property and they've already been there for, say, 3 months, then the landlord cannot serve notice. So while the Renters' Reform Act became law this week, it doesn't actually come into effect until some time, and we don't quite know when that time will be, but the best guess from the National Residential Landlords Association is sometime in the first half of 2026. And when it comes into effect, then no doubt buyers of properties and landlords selling properties will be impacted if they have a tenant in situ. So what are the risks to buyers of property in London then with this new act coming in? Well, first of all, you want to avoid to buy a property where there is a tenant already in place and you can't actually get rid of the tenant because either the Renters' Reform Act has come into effect, as it will, or that the landlord, despite saying that they will get vacant possession, can't get vacant possession because they don't have their paperwork and compliance in order and their tenant is savvy and refuses to leave. So that is something that you just really have to be aware of as a buyer. I help my clients to overcome this by structuring the contract to buy and the exchange in such a way so that it's conditional upon vacant possession at a certain time, and that the Renters' Reform Act has not come into effect, and also that the landlord has all their paperwork in order, and that the departure of the tenant is not delayed due to the landlord not having got their compliance in order. And this is something that I can help my clients with to reduce the risk for them when they buy. As ever, thank you so much for watching and welcome to all new subscribers and for kind comments. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you again and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.